Today, let us take some time to study the Word of God under the subject, Valuable Choices. We can know what a person values by looking at what kind of actions they take and the kind of life they live. It is the same for us who are heading toward heaven. On our journey to heaven, there are some who foolishly value acknowledgement from the people of the world as much as being acknowledged by God. However, for all the children of Zion, God's opinion of us holds greater weight and significance than that of the people of the world. Today, let us consider the choices that are made by people who know the value of God's opinion. Among those in the workforce, we can find two types of people. One type only regards the value of their work monetarily. However, the other group regards the intrinsic value and importance of the work that they are doing. Although their work is the same, what is different is how they value their work. For this reason, one type always grumbles and complains while working, whereas the other group is always grateful for the opportunity to work, regardless of their salary. These kinds of situations appear even amidst our spiritual lives. I would like to share with you a fable from long ago. There was a famous fool who lived in a certain city. It may sound a little strange hearing the words famous fool, but he was indeed very famous for being foolish. Many people visited the city just to see this fool. Since the boy was foolish, no one offered him a job. So he had no other choice but to beg for money in order to survive. One day, an elderly man saw the boy and wanted to give him some money. From his pocket, he took out two bills, a $10 bill and a $1 bill. He suddenly became curious and told the boy to choose only one of the two bills. In one hand, he held out the $10 bill, and in the other, the $1 bill. Without hesitation, the foolish boy chose the $1 bill. Isn't $10 much more valuable? Nevertheless, he chose the $1 bill. The elderly man started to think about what just happened. He thought, why did he choose $1 when anyone else would have chosen to have $10? He was greatly amused by this. He reached into his pocket for another $1 bill. Once again, he told the boy to choose between the $10 bill and the $1 bill. And once again, the boy chose the $1 bill. The elderly man spread the news about the boy all throughout the city. Everyone in the city became curious and went to see if what they heard was true. They wanted to confirm if the boy would do what the elderly man had said. When they offered him a $10 bill and a $1 bill, he would always take the $1 bill without hesitation. Since it seemed that the boy did not know the value of money, the people laughed at his foolish behavior. As the news about him spread to neighboring cities and beyond, more and more people came to see the foolish boy. On a separate occasion, when another person came and told him to choose between a $50 bill and a $1 bill, he still chose the $1 bill. What is more, When he was told to choose between a $100 bill and a $1 bill, to everyone's amazement, the boy took the $1 bill without hesitation. Many people thought, indeed, he is such a fool. How could he not know the value of money, continuing to choose the $1 bill? Yet the people did not know what his true intentions were. The news about the boy spread quickly, even to neighboring countries. Many tourists from various countries came to see this bizarre phenomenon. Whenever given a choice between a bill with a greater value and one with a lesser value, the boy always chose the one with the lesser value. One day a man asked the foolish boy, "Do you know which one is greater in value? Between a $10 bill and a $1 bill?" The boy answered yes. When the man asked, "Which one has a greater value?" the boy answered, "The $10 bill." The man was perplexed. He asked, "Then why did you take the $1 bill instead of the one with a greater value?" The boy smiled and said, "If I had taken the $10 bill, I would have received that amount only one time. But because I chose the $1 bill, I was able to receive a dollar over and over again." In your opinion, which choice do you think was better? The foolish boy chose the dollar bill because he knew receiving it again and again was far more valuable than receiving a larger amount only once. When we think about it, although he appears to be a fool, isn't he quite a genius? The boy knew well the difference between a perpetual value and a momentary value. But other people thought that he had no clue about the value of money. Nowadays, there are so many people in the world who live without understanding the difference between the things that have a momentary value and that have a perpetual one. If you ask someone, which one would you choose? Almost everyone will take the $10 bill. These kinds of people choose momentary values and pleasures. In fact, the foolish boy was not really foolish at all. In actuality, he was very prudent and wise. So today, let us think further about the topic of momentary values and eternal values. We can confirm through the Bible that we, the children of Zion, have chosen eternity over that which is momentary. Although it seems that we choose something of lesser value, in the end, the choices we make will prove to have eternal value. Let us take a look at Luke chapter 23, verse 32. Two other men, both criminals, were also led out with him to be executed. When they came to the place called the Skull, there they crucified him, along with the criminals, one on his right, the other on his left. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, "He saved others. Let him save himself, if he is the Christ of God, the chosen one." The soldiers also came up and mocked him. They'd offered him wine vinegar and said, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." There was a written notice above him, which read, "This is the king of the Jews." One of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. "Aren't you the Christ? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked him. "Don't you fear God," he said, "since you are under the same sentence? We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus answered him, "I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise." This is a well-known scene from the Bible. And we are very familiar with these words. Jesus was crucified along with two robbers, one on his left and the other on his right. When we compare the two robbers, we can confirm which robber understood about value. What did the robber on the left, who only focused on the moment, do? He hurled insults at Jesus. He did this because the people who insulted Christ appeared to be bigger, more powerful, and stronger than Jesus. In order to gain their favor, the robber on the left joined the side of those who were insulting Christ. He hurled insults at Jesus, saying, "Aren't you the Christ? Save yourself and us." With the false hope of receiving some kind of special grace that would result in a reduced punishment. He played the role of a spokesman, speaking on behalf of all the people and soldiers who were insulting Christ. He only thought about the moment. He thought that if he hurled insults at Jesus, his penalty would be reduced. So he took sides with the people who seemed to have power in that moment. However, the robber on the right focused on eternity. In the moment when no one was willing to stand up for Jesus, even though there was the potential to be slandered and ridiculed by others, he rebuked the other robber because he valued eternity more than the moment. He said, "We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus answered him, "I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise." The robber on the left thought that he would suffer more if he stood by Jesus' side, so he sided with the crowd. Not only was he unable to gain what he expected, but he unknowingly chose a greater punishment in hell. However, the robber on the right thought differently. He said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Momentarily, he suffered a greater loss, but he made the correct choice. Everyone, there are many lessons that we should learn from these two robbers. Nowadays, many people in the world know the truths of the Sabbath and Passover that are testified about in the Bible. Yet, there are many who still do not make the right choice. They think, if I choose to follow those teachings, people will say that I am a member of a strange church. These people only value the present moment. All of us who gather here today need to consider the value of eternity. Brothers and sisters, we must know the value of the path that we are walking now. It is truly invaluable. In order to live our lives of faith graciously, we must correctly understand the value of the truth, the value of the kingdom of heaven, the value of God, and the value of being a child of God. Let us suppose there was a rock that everyone regarded as worthless. However, what if that rock was actually a precious diamond, and you were the only one who knew its true value? Would you not make great efforts to protect it from being stolen at all costs? If you knew the worth of the diamond that you are carrying, you would endure any and all difficulties that you may encounter, even walking several kilometers gladly. Among the believers, how can we tell whether or not someone has faith? The faithful are those who know the value of eternity. Among the people who believe and worship God, those who do not know the value of eternity will always be regarded as people without faith. Why should I do this? Why should I walk this path? Why should I keep the Sabbath day? Why should I wear a veil when I worship God? At this moment, are we not walking this path of faith, thinking about what God has prepared for us as an eternal inheritance because it has a value that is everlasting? However, a person who has no concept of value would never walk even a few kilometers carrying a diamond weighing 10 or 20 kilograms. This person makes many excuses, grumbles, and complains because they perceive it as a great burden. However, the person who knows its value as a diamond can walk with a heart full of joy, although it weighs 20 kilograms. It is because the person knows its value. Everyone, it is the same with the case of the robber on the right-hand side of Jesus in Luke 23. One of the criminals joined the crowd to insult Jesus Christ, thinking that he would suffer more if he took Jesus' side. However, the other criminal recognized how valuable Jesus Christ truly was. Even in that moment, despite being mistreated, mocked, and slandered, the robber, understanding how valuable Jesus Christ was, said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Please take me with you to your eternal kingdom." Among the 66 books of the Bible, he is the most fortunate person because of the timely words he spoke. He did not speak these fortuitous words on his own, but rather he spoke these words of faith out of realization of how valuable Jesus was. The saints of the early church were burned alive as human candles and were fed to lions in the Colosseum. Although they were hated by the people and faced various trials and persecution, they kept their faith to the end. This was the result of their understanding the value of the kingdom of heaven and the value of their faith in God. Others might wonder about the saints. Why do they believe in God that way? Should we not understand their mindset? Their hearts were filled with joy and happiness. Although they were treated like sheep, being led to the slaughter, they rejoiced day after day. It was because they realized that the eternal kingdom of heaven and crowns of life were waiting for them. They believed that all the heavenly angels were preparing all these things and that God was waiting to welcome them. Neither tribulation, nor persecution, nor sword, nor anything else in all creation. What can they never do to us? They can never separate us from the love of Christ Jesus, our Lord. There are those who hold in high regard things that are momentary, while others, things that are eternal. I believe that all our members in Zion, who have gathered here today, are living for eternity. The robber on the left thought that he would suffer more if he took Jesus' side. He regarded the crowd and the people with authority as more valuable than Christ. But at this moment, is he not in eternal hell, being tormented forever? Then, why do people think they will suffer more if they stand on the side of Jesus? Let's go to Luke chapter 14. We are now entering the prophetic time when the value of remaining in God will soon be gloriously revealed. Luke chapter 14, verse 25. Large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and turning to them, he said, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, his wife and children, his brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And anyone who does not carry his cross and follow me cannot be my disciple." Jesus said, whoever follows him will have to make many sacrifices and suffer many things. Some people say, I wanted to be prosperous and comfortable, so I tried believing in God. Other religions teach that everything will go well if you just believe. However, Jesus said anyone who follows him should carry his own cross. As Jesus said, there will be difficulties and tribulations. People think they will suffer a greater loss by standing on the side of Jesus. A moment ago, I told you a story about a famous fool. When he chose the $1 bill, everyone laughed and called him a fool. In actuality, he was not foolish at all. Those who called him a fool were the people who only consider the money at face value. Though it seemed gratifying to take the $10 bill, their gratification was short-lived. That feeling could not last forever. In contrast, wasn't the famous fool able to earn hundreds and hundreds of dollars by choosing the $1 bill over a longer period of time? People think that they would suffer a greater loss if they had to carry the burden of their own cross throughout their lives. Shouldn't we keep in mind that behind the scenes, there is a greater, eternal value in the path that we are walking now? Let us go to 2 Corinthians chapter 3. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6. He has made us competent as what kind of ministers? Ministers of a new covenant. The path of the cross is the path that the ministers of the new covenant must walk. Those who have made the determination to carry their own cross, following in the footsteps of Christ, are the workers of the new covenant. They did not become workers of the new covenant to gain pleasure and comfort in this world, but rather to gain what is lasting and eternal. The workers of the new covenant know the value of what is eternal. People who forsook Jesus, like Judas Iscariot and the robber on the left, are those who thought they would suffer a greater loss if they stood on the side of Jesus. They did not value Jesus at all. However, the robber on the right viewed Jesus as thousands upon thousands of times more valuable than did all the people in the crowd. This is why he comforted Jesus while suffering next to him on the cross. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Although Jesus was thirsty and in extreme pain and suffering due to the nails in his hands, how comforted and pleased he must have been when he heard the words from the robber on his right. Those who choose, as did the robber on the right, understand what is valuable. Shouldn't we also make valuable choices and stand firmly on God's side in all circumstances? Let's go to Matthew chapter 4. Matthew chapter 4, verse 18. As Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, called Peter, and his brother Andrew. They were casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. "Come follow me," Jesus said, "and I will make you fishers of men." At once they left their nets and followed him. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father, Zebedee, preparing their nets. Jesus called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. Those who know what is valuable make these kinds of choices. They consider what is eternal and not what is momentary. Those who value what is eternal always stood on the side of Jesus. Although they might have been cold and hungry momentarily, and even if they came across many difficult situations, when they thought about their life, having hope for their future, they all knew that there was nothing of greater value than to live a Christian life. It is the same now in this age. God is now calling us to do the most valuable work of this age. Just as he called Peter, Andrew, John, and James near the Sea of Galilee, now in this age, God wants all His children in Zion to carry out the most valuable work as the workers of the new covenant. People of the world live as if the value of momentary things are everything, but they will all regret it later. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Solomon had the greatest wealth in this world. As a king, he enjoyed everything of the world to his heart's content. After the many experiences in his life, he cannot help but conclude that the things that have momentary value are meaningless, meaningless, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. On the other hand, everyone who placed value on that which is eternal instead of momentary things sided with Christ. Neither tribulation, nor persecution, nor sword can separate us from the love of Christ, Jesus our Lord. While practicing our faith, we should not simply think, I am going to church because today is a Sabbath day. I am going to church because today is the Passover. Since God told us to wear a veil, I put one on. Rather than thinking like this, we should realize what our little deeds and faithful choices, such as keeping one Sabbath service after another, can bring about for us in the end. God promised us blessings, and the value of God's blessings are not minuscule. If we compare awards given by a mayor, a governor, and a president, do they all hold the same value? Not at all. I ask everyone to press on toward the goal, to win the prize from God, who is the King of Kings over the whole universe. With a thankful heart full of joy, let us walk the path of the gospel, the path of the precious Sabbath day, the path of the new covenant, and the path to heaven, hoping that we can all become the protagonists who make valuable choices. I would like to conclude today's sermon. Thank you very much.